Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Thursday evening. Hope you're doing well. I don't know what you're up to tonight, but I want to hop on and just have a conversation about writing a book. A lot of people follow me here and have been asking me a lot of questions, whether you're on my email list or you're one of our social media followers, and been asking about my mission of helping you write a book. And I thought it'd be really cool. I had some time tonight to hop on, and I'm going to cover some things right now for you guys. So in this, I'm actually going to cover, I got notes for you, why I wrote my first book. And I'm going to share with you exactly how we turned this book into $3 million. And I really think if you're looking for a new marketing concept, you can learn a lot from this. Like, I'm going to share that right now. I'm also going to share with you how I've actually sold 0 copies of this book. I don't believe you should sell books, which is very controversial in the book writing world. I'm going to share with you that on how you can leverage your book as a marketing strategy to attracting your dream clients. I'm going to share with you right now. I'm also going to share with you what types of businesses I think are really perfect to write a book. And I'm going to share with you guys some examples of businesses that have written books. And then I'm going to share with you how to write a book and get it published in less than 60 days. Is that fair? And so that's what we're going to cover right now. If you're tuning in, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? Guys, I'm in San Diego, California. You can see that's not a real surfboard. That's a prop surfboard. But throw me a little heart, a little love. Where are you tuning in from? I'd love to hear. And if you do have any questions as I'm going, I have the comments here. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. But it's interesting, like, I never thought I'd be the book writing guy or book writing coach or publishing guy. And this happened organically. So the very first thing I'm going to cover, guys, is why I wrote a book and why I think you should too. I wrote a book because I was just a real estate agent in Phoenix, Arizona. I owned a real estate brokerage and I was the CEO of that company. And we were trying to find ways of standing out in the marketplace. Now, I don't know where you live, and I'd love to know, but in Phoenix, there's 50,000 real estate agents in Phoenix, Arizona. And if you throw a rock, you're going to hit a realtor. Everybody's a realtor in Phoenix. And so what I was running into in my business was they were kind of lumping me in with all other realtors. And in your business, we all face competition, right? You all face competitors, and I wanted to stand out in the marketplace. And that was just the real reason why I wrote a book. And what's crazy is, guys, this was like 7 years ago. I went to a marketing conference one night. I was part of a local meetup group, and it was, I'll never forget, it was a Wednesday night conference, and I really didn't want to go, and it was Phoenix, and I was hot and sweaty, and I went. Something pulled me to go, and I was tired. I just wanted to go home and watch some Netflix and get some dinner, but I went. And they had a guest speaker, and he was talking about writing books. And I was like, I rolled my eyes, because I was like, oh, dude. And I started playing on my phone, responding to emails and stuff. I was like, well, I'm not going to, I'm not an Amazon guy. I'm not going to, who's going to buy my story, I'm just a realtor. And yeah, we were selling we were selling 200 homes per year. I was really good at what I did, but I was like, oh, dude, I don't want to sell books. And the concept that he taught was really beautiful. And he taught about how the art of writing a book makes you really stand out as an expert. And let me explain. This is why I wrote my first book. I realized that I've learned a lot from books. Maybe you have too. I didn't have the luxury of going to an Ivy League college. I did 3 semesters in a junior college and dropped out to get into business as an entrepreneur. So, I've learned everything through books and tapes and seminars. Maybe you're the same. If you can relate to me on that, throw me a little thumbs up there. And so I didn't know really what to do other than, books. And so I would get books on Amazon, or I remember getting a stack of books at Goodwill and just studying them and learning from other people. So I was already an avid reader. This is funny. This is actually my reading chair. So this is where I sit and read every day. And so I've learned everything, a lot from books. And when you read a book from an author that's maybe a business guru or somebody giving you great advice, what do you think? If you're reading the book and you're getting educated, you start to think that person is awesome and they're a true expert. And I want to share with you guys a really interesting statistic. Less than 1% of the world will ever write a book. This is a true stat. 1% would ever write a book. Yet over 80% of people want to. And so what I found is, if there's all these realtors running around town, and think about what you do, man, if I wrote a book, that would really prove how good I really was, because I really was good. And we were selling 200 homes, and I was a great realtor. And I knew that if I wrote a book, and here's the book, guys, it was called Go Sold, it would really show what made me different. Does that make sense? And I would be able to educate, this is 160 pages, educate about my story and what made me different and my home selling system. Does that make sense to you? And so I wrote this book truly as an educational piece, not to sell it on Amazon. We've actually sold 0 copies of this book. Now check this out. So I wrote this book to stand out, and I want you to think about Would writing a book help you stand out? And we'll get into that here in a second about the types of businesses I think would be good for it. But I wanted to stand out, and I had a lot of competition. And so we started giving these out to our clients. And so somebody would reach out to me on Facebook or online and say, hey, Nick, we're thinking about selling our home. What we would do then is we would send them the book up front. And now what's crazy is, I'm just going to blow your mind on some stuff. These books don't cost a ton to get printed up. They're only like $4 to $5. So you can get a book printed up for like $5 and it becomes the ultimate business card. Do you follow me on that? And so let's pretend they were going to interview me and some other real estate agents at that time, and think about people that are interviewing you. Like they're going to consider you and somebody else. So it would be me and really 2 other realtors is what was typical. So they would interview 3 people. Well, what would happen is we wanted them to get my book up front, because if you look here, we have like client stories and client testimonials, and I educated on my system. And so guys, that's why I wrote a book and why we chose to not sell it on Amazon, because I didn't want them to go get it on Amazon. I wanted them to call the office so we could send this to them. And what we would do is we would send them the book for free. No cost on it at all. Yeah, it cost me $5 to get the book printed, but it was a great marketing tool. And I would usually like hand address it. Right here we had what our clients were saying. And they were able to read this and get to know me as the expert before me walking in to meet with them to sell their home. Do you follow me on that? And so it became kind of an expensive business card, right? So anybody could hand you a little business card. Well, it takes somebody with a little bit more knowledge. And when I wrote this, I think I had sold 2,000 homes is where I was at. And so I truly was an expert, right? Like we had won awards, we were great at what we did. And I was able to tell that story. And here's the logic, which makes writing a book so key for you, is if you know your stuff really, really well and you're a true expert, putting that in a book format shows that you have the system, you have the knowledge, you have the capability to help them, right? And there's a lot of realities to this, and it's a physical proof. We didn't send ebooks either. I'm talking old school printed things. You're like, Nicky T, it's 2022. Yeah, we don't teach, we'll give out some digital stuff. The power is in the physical. And let me tell you why. If you were to mail this to somebody, right, we send it to their home. By the time that you meet with them, whether you meet them on the phone or on a Zoom, or in this situation, I would meet them face to face, they would have read some of my book. And it was the cutest story. I'll never forget. I'm meeting with this old couple and to sell their home, and they're going to move to like a retirement community. And I sit down to go through my presentation that matched the book. So this book was called The 10-Step Guide to Getting Your Home Sold, which was our system that had sold 2,000 homes. And then the presentation would back that up. Does it make sense? Again, this isn't about real estate agents. Like, I'll get to you in a second. I'm just sharing with you the story so you understand how we got here. And so I get into the presentation and I'm on like step 2, and she goes, Nick, I know step 2, getting your home ready for sale. I read the book. And I was like, what? And she cuts off her husband and she's like, Earl, I read the book. Okay. And I was just like, damn, this is pretty cool. Well, here's what happened. Our conversions of people hiring us went up by 50%. It doubled. This is a true story. So I never thought I'd be here talking to you on Facebook about a book, right? Never thought I'd be helping people publish books, but this is why. So I've always been a marketing guy. I've always wanted to help people grow, and realtors would come work for me for strategies to grow their business. Well, check this out. Well, if I'm a marketing guy and we have this marketing tool, we would double our commissions, or double our sales, right? So you were double more likely to hire me. And what happened was we started becoming known for this book. And then we started sending these out to people. And so what's really cool is this book has helped us land, at that time, when I retired from real estate, it was 350 clients and over $3 million of revenue, which is really, really powerful. And so that's why I wrote my first book. And I haven't sold a single copy of this book ever, yet we've made $3.5 million. And how we got here and why I'm even talking to you tonight was, over the years, friends would reach out, and one of my best friends, Nate Palmer, reached out to me, and Nate was an online fitness coach and is. He's the creator of the $1 Million Body, and he called me up. He says, hey man, I saw you wrote that book. Would you be willing to have lunch with me and share with me kind of why you wrote that book? And I'd love to know more. I was like, dude, I'm happy to share. And so we sit down at lunch and we talked about him writing a book. And I said, dude, you should write a book. That's like a real technical term. I was like, dude, you should write a book. And so Nate wrote a book literally 60 days later. He wrote his very first book, Passport Fitness. So Nate is an online coach. And now why would an online coach and personal trainer write a book? Well, because anybody with a phone can record a 60-second TikTok. Only 1% would ever write a book. So by Nate taking his methods, his $1 Million Body method, and writing that in a book form, he now has an asset. He now has a marketing tool that he can mail to people. Sure, he emails people, but he's able to go on podcast to give his book out. So check this out. So Nate spoke at one of my events here in January. So Nate gave out a free copy of his book to the entire crowd. Well, check this out. But he did that before he went on stage to speak. Well, now Nate is positioned as the true expert. So you're kind of warmed up to hear him talk. He knows his stuff. So it's not just an Instagram post or an image. Anybody can take a duck face selfie, right? Anybody can throw a filter on. Anybody can get on camera and take a cute little image or infographic. But it takes somebody with a big heart and that really ultimately knows their stuff and has a track record. So Nate goes and speaks. He gave out the book. What was interesting is when Nate got off stage, people were literally taking photos with him, asking for his autograph. It was really beautiful to see. I was in the back of the room getting ready for the next speaker. And 4 people bought his program that day. And so by writing a book, it establishes you as the credible expert in your niche, right? Like that's the big thing that I'm trying to stress to you. And it obviously leads to more leads, and more leads leads to, more sales, right? You're more likely to convert that client. And so that's why Nate wrote a book. But what's funny is that's how we got here. So like I didn't have a publishing company or anything like that at the time. I just sent Nate to a couple friends and I helped guide Nate through. And me and Nate talk week in and week out about how to promote his business, and we're buds, right? And so I'll share with you this really cool story. About a year ago, Nate and I were talking and we were mapping out a funnel. Like I help people build sales funnels. We help people with Kajabi and online courses and stuff. And he goes, bro, you're just so talented at this. He goes, you're so passionate about this book thing. You really need to find a way to share this with the world. And I was like, well, Nate, like I just wrote the first book. Like that wasn't my thing. And I'm writing my next book, but like, I'm not really into that. And he goes, Nick, you helped change my life and my business by helping me write a book. He goes, you inspired me. He's like, you really need to do that for other people. He's like, you're a business coach. You obviously made a couple million with your book. I've made 600 grand with my book. It's awesome. You're great at it. You're passionate about it. Why don't you figure out how to share this with the world? And I was like, okay, cool. And so I was like, oh, what would I call it? I call it the Triumphant Author. And it was really interesting. So I was at a seminar one time. This is September, like literally not even a year ago. And I met this sweet, amazing, beautiful girl, Crystal Hughes. And Crystal was like, hey, I heard you're this book guy. And I was like, well, not yet, but like we're getting there. And she's like, hey, would you be willing to help me write a book? And I was like, well, the program's not done yet. We're kind of working on it. And I'm kind of a perfectionist. And I was like, but I'll let you in, I'll give it to you for half off. And so Crystal came in and we wrote her book, Winning in Real Estate, in less than 60 days. And it was really powerful. And this was like the very first person that we actually put through my system and with my publishing team and stuff like that. And so what happened with Crystal? So Crystal's a real estate agent. Obviously it makes sense because I was a realtor. So I had a lot of those systems and, the templates and stuff like that. And so Crystal wrote this book and she's been able to triple her business since. And I'm really, really proud of her. And it was really amazing to watch her do this. And it was cool to see her go share her story online and ask people to get a copy of her book. She just landed a $13,000 deal because of her book. Why? Because like I just told you, somebody was interviewing her as the real estate agent and 3 other people. And Crystal had sent her book up like I taught her, and they hired her and she got the 13 grand commission. And I'm really, really proud of her. As you can tell, I love helping it's just cool. Like you just help people share their message and then accomplish a live stream of writing a book. And then I step in and help them grow their business. It's a beautiful thing. And then Eagle came to me, my man Eagle Star. Eagle Star came to me and he is a financial advisor and he wrote his book Bottom Dollar with me in my Triumphant Author system. And it's so cool to see him out there sharing his heart with the world and sharing his message and his knowledge. And this becomes the ultimate business card for him. 1, he accomplishes a life goal of writing a book and getting published. But then 2, he gets to have this as a vehicle to share his message with the world, right? And so who's best to write a book? Obviously, I mentioned 2 examples of realtors. An online coach. Nate's a personal trainer, an online coach. Online coaches, course creators, absolutely. It's funny, we get caught up in this digital age where we think that everything's digital. It's not. You want to take things physical, and that's powerful. Who else? A service-based business like a real estate agent. We have a roofer writing a book right now. Why? Because you ain't never heard of a roofer writing a book, right? It becomes a marketing investment, and odds are you're spending the investment in other places, right? Magazines or newspapers, right? So I've seen that. We just had a couple of people apply that are consultants, that are business consultants. Awesome. Insurance salespeople. Awesome. Coaches are huge for that, right? Somebody that has a brand. Somebody that has a story that they want to share and something that they want to monetize. And so guys, I'm on a mission to help small business owners, right? This isn't, writing a novel or like a kid's book or like a comic book or a poetry book. We have people ask me to help with that. That's not what I'm special at. What I'm special at and on a mission to do is help small business owners write a book and then use this book as a marketing tool to grow their business. Crystal was able to triple her business in 8 months. I did $3 million off my book. Nate did 600 grand. Eagle's been able to land some deals. He landed his first sale off of this book within his first week of his book being published, which is really, really powerful. And so I'm on a mission to help small business owners. So somebody that has a product to sell, a service-based business, somebody that is a consultant, or maybe you have an online course. Awesome. Maybe you're a coach that does stuff one-on-one. Awesome, right? Maybe you're a mortgage broker or somebody that is in a service-based business like that. Fantastic. Because you have a story, but then you also have things that you can educate people on. So it's a small business owner who has some things that they want to teach and has a huge goal. But on top of that mission, it's got to be somebody that has a huge heart that wants to grow, right? Because writing a book, anybody can, duck face selfie. Anybody can do that. Anybody can pull out a phone and record a 60-second TikTok. Somebody has to take the time, the dedication, and the care to write a book. And so writing a book for us only takes, it's literally 60 days or less. The fastest I've ever seen, I wrote my first book in 12 days. Seriously, that's what my system is set up to do. I wrote my first book in 12 days. Eagle was about 60 days, 65 days. Crystal, I think, was like 70 days start to finish because I was kind of getting up and moving with the program. But it's somebody that's super driven, super motivated, and wants to look at next level marketing concepts, right? This isn't easy. It's not hard. It's easy, but it's not like the simplest thing ever. It takes about 30 minutes per day. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is that, well, like, dude, like, am I gonna have to go to this cabin in the woods and write for weeks? It's 30 minutes per day. How do you get fit? 30 minutes per day. How do you write a book? 30 minutes per day. It's that old quote, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I think that so applies here. And so guys, that's my mission. That's how I got here. So I got in the book world because one, I wrote my first book and we used that to double my conversions and it brought us 350 clients. And then two, we never sold one. And I'm going through the checklist of what I promised you guys I would cover. We haven't sold a single book. Now, do we get into some of those strategies? Yeah, we're working on some Amazon strategies and stuff like that. But what we want to do is help you share the book with the world and give this out. So for example, if you wanted to get booked on a podcast, giving your book up front as like a package, right? Getting TV appearances and using this as a credibility factor is so critical. So you don't want to charge people for that. So what we teach people to do is give their book away for free as a marketing expense, and it's going to help you land more clients. And then so the third thing is who's right to write a book? A small business owner that has a story to tell, right? A passion, right? And you know your stuff. That's the thing is like, and this is what sums up everything, right? For you to write a book, logically, like for me to write a book that's 160 pages, logically, I have to be able to write 160 pages about my system. That's the thing. And that's why I believe that only 1% of the world would ever write a book. One, you have to know your stuff, which means you would have had to spend some time learning your craft and becoming a master of that. Malcolm Gladwell calls it the 10,000 hour rule, is it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. I think that's really, really true. I really, really like that. And I think that that's true. So a small business owner that wants to grow and has a passion and is willing to commit to 30 minutes per day to write a book. Book's not going to write itself, right? I'm writing a new book right now and it's really cool. It's called The Triumphant Author. I'm excited. I'll get you a free copy if you want. And I'm putting myself through my same system and it's about 30 minutes per day. If you just spend 30 minutes per day dedicated chopping in the same spot of the tree, right, the tree's going to fall down. And guys, that's what I do now. I'm on a mission to help you write a book, then use that book to go land clients, to get leads, to book podcast appearances, to build a ton of notoriety, a ton of authority. And as you can tell, it doesn't take a lot to get me excited about this because it worked for me really, really well. And then people ask me, how did you do it? Will you help me? And that's really cool. Like, it's kind of cool when a business is born organically without you really expecting it. And I wasn't expecting it, but people came to me and said, dude, we want you to do this for us. Would you do this for us? I was like, yeah. And so now it's become this huge passion of mine and I love it. And I love helping people grow. And I started my company called The Triumphant Life, and we had one mission. I want to help small business owners triumph in business and in life. And that's why I started it. And for me, being able to give a vehicle that I've tried. See, I think there's so many people that give advice on things that they've never tried before. I can only look our business students in the face and say, hey, I tried this. Here's the mistakes that I made. This one didn't work. This did work, right? And I love that concept of walking your own talk, right? And so I only teach things that I've tried that worked for us or things that I'm currently doing, right? Like we're currently building out some online courses and we're currently working on some sales funnel stuff and working on some YouTube ads. And so then I just get to pass that back to really, really cool people and small business owners and help them. So I just talk in real things that I've tried. And so if anything here inspired you, get in touch. I'd be honored to help you learn a little bit more. I got some great free resources for you guys. If you look at the links in my bio, you can first of all go get a copy of my 20-page case study where I walk you guys through the whole process. You can go get this download right now. So while I'm even talking, if you just click on that link in the bio, you can go ahead and get this. So there's two links. There's one to get that case study, and two, we have an entire masterclass. I recorded a 45-minute presentation where I'm at a whiteboard scripting out how this works. So if you'd like those trainings, they're literally the links in my bio. Go get them. You can watch them this evening. But guys, as you can tell, I'm a super real guy. So if you have any questions about this, just drop a comment below. Or if you want to keep it private, hit me in the DMs if you'd like to learn more about how you can write a book. But I'll just share this with you is, for you to do something you've never done, you have to do something you've never done. And if what you're doing isn't working, and if what you're doing and you're posting on Facebook and Instagram and you're trying to TikTok and it's just not getting you the traction that you want, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, right? And so you might be open to new ideas or strategies, and that's what this is. It's a little different where you're like, dude, I never thought I'd be writing a book, and neither did I. I never thought I would have wrote this first book and then ended up talking to you here on a live about writing books and all this crazy stuff. But it's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing to write a book and accomplish that goal in life. And what it does is it gives you a tangible thing of what you've learned and what you teach and who you are, and which is a really, really cool thing. And then, the last thing I'll just share with you guys, I got a chance to dedicate this book to somebody very, very special to me. I was able to dedicate this book to my grandmother, Bonnie Jean Grimmett. And it's been beautiful for me to know that she's in this book and her legacy. And she's no longer here with us, but she is. And it's really, really beautiful. And, every year on her birthday, I read this and look at that. And it was able to honor her legacy in my book. And the reason that I chose to have her as the dedication of my book was she had been such a huge supporter of me. She was my biggest fan of getting into real estate and was there with me. And I was able to write this. And it was kind of like this, like, there's my legacy in real estate. And I've learned all this stuff. And now I'm holding it, right? And I'm no longer in real estate. Now I'm a business coach, and we have online courses, and I'm helping people write books. But I was able to put a bow on that chapter of my life, and now this is a tangible thing that I'm holding physically with her in it. And how beautiful is that? Eagle was adopted. My man Eagle, who wrote his book with me, he was adopted, and he was able to dedicate, like Coach Nicky T, he sent me the hand-signed copy. It's so beautiful. He was able to dedicate this to his father that adopted him. And how beautiful is that? So for me, yes, you get to grow your business, and yes, you'll land sales, and people think you're awesome and have you on podcasts and all this stuff, and you'll be part of my crew, the Triumphant Authors, but you'll be able to do something really, really special, and let's dedicate that book to somebody really special to you that's made an impact in your life, or a mentor. And so there's just so many other layers of how rad writing a book is, and how you become just part of this whole different world of like published authors, and it's just a beautiful thing. So if that's been a goal of yours, get in touch. Like I mentioned, the links are up there. This is a really cool case study. It's very educational. And that training, the masterclass, if you go to thetriumphantauthor.com, you can go watch that right now, thetriumphantauthor.com, and the link's up there. It's jam-packed, and I'm at a whiteboard scripting out why we wrote the book and really how it worked a little bit more. But you might have questions. How long does it take? What's the cost? What's funny is the cost. It'll blow you away. I can get you a book published for less than like $3,000. Yeah, people don't want you to know that. So I'm kind of this, if I ended up dead in a canal one day, like I'll give you a list of like big book publishers that probably like we're the ones to check in on first. But I'm here to just take really complex things and break them down to the simple, because I don't want to be a book publisher. I want to be a business coach to help you grow your business. So we've just put together a team that will publish your book for really, really affordably. That'll do the cover. Like we do it all. So you get like the book cover, the editing, the formatting, the printing. And you can get a book printed for less than $4, which is really, really cool. And so like I said, guys, I'm just a business coach that wanted to find a vehicle for our students to grow, and a vehicle that I knew worked. Well, this is it. This is the vehicle. And yeah, will we teach you to start a podcast around that? Yeah, I'm going to teach you to start a podcast and nudge you along there. And then I'm going to teach you to take each chapter of your book and record a video about that and turn that into an online course. Yeah, I'm going to do that too. That's all part of the course. But that's what I do, guys. So you got a friend here, Nicky T. If you have any questions, let me know. I look forward to seeing you in the resources, the case study, or the training I have there at thetriumphantauthor.com. Hit me in the comments below, but I hope you learned something. And guys, those are the 4 things that I wanted to cover tonight, why I wrote my first book, and why I think you should too. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.